Well, last week I reviewed the movie Obsession and confessed that it was the rare horror movie that actually did scare me. This week I come armed with a review of Backrooms, which didn't scare me but succeeded at creeping me out. I am complimentary to both because I feel that the worst thing that a horror movie can be is passive and predictable. Backrooms is neither of these things, which is kind of what I expected given that it's based on an internet phenomenon that started out with an eerie photo of an empty furniture store in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and ballooned into an urban legend about an alternate dimension that included pale yellow walls, buzzing fluorescent lights, disorganized office furniture, and an endless and meaningless series of rooms and hallways that get more and more bizarre the further you go. The theory is that this dimension is made up of things forgotten and abandoned that take on a life of their own. Eventually, of course, it came to include the idea that when you enter this endless nightmare, you eventually find that you're not alone. And given the unsettling nature of this space, that's not at all comforting. My theory is that it's a metaphor for the nightmare of the modern corporate structure and the inability to free yourself from it. I also learned that if you spend too much time focused on it, it'll drive you crazy. I don't pretend to be an expert on this, I'm just going on basic armchair research. I can say that having lived through the satanic panic era of the 1980s, where the most abundant fear was that our brains were being twisted by subliminal messages in our rock albums, if it's a cultural panic or an urban legend, inevitably someone is going to make a horror movie about it. Backrooms is about as good a movie as you're going to get from this idea. It is unpredictable, and the basic concept of this weird dimension is a treat from a modern production designer who creates the backroom world as a maddening combination of Alice in Wonderland and the hallways from The Shining. Director Kane Parsons, a YouTuber who was largely responsible for getting the viral sensation of the Backrooms going, borrows a lot from Stanley Kubrick and the impersonal and insane world that he creates. The spaces of these endless office complexes with its yellow walls and buzzing lights reminded me of what was driving Tom Hanks insane in Joe vs. the Volcano. Backrooms stars one of my favorite actors, Chiwetel Ejiofor, as Clark, a failed architect dealing with alcoholism and a recent divorce, and is now living in the basement of the furniture store where he works. One night he discovers that one of the walls is a portal to the previously mentioned Backrooms, a confusing and oppressive maze of randomness with slight hints that it may not be totally unoccupied. Where the movie goes from there, I won't say, and given the bizarre nature of the film, I don't think I could. It goes where you expect, and it doesn't go where you expect. I like that the movie kept me off balance. The scenes of Clark wandering through the back rooms were genuinely unsettling, and some of the developments as he tries to wrap his head around it were really surprising. Some of it, needless to say, gets kind of silly, particularly a chase scene at the end. But Parsons settles on moments of quiet dread and often lets you marinate in the backroom atmosphere. He's very generous with his camera. There's a moment late in the film when we're looking at a head and shoulders shot at one of the characters, and we keep expecting something to come around the corner behind them. But it doesn't. I like that restraint. There's a lot more here than is probably necessary. More to the characters, more to the setting, more to the lore of what is happening. The movie comes fully loaded. I fully expect that in another year there's going to be a ton of videos trying to explain every twist and turn and sound and prop. The movie earns that kind of analysis. I enjoyed it very much. I give it a B+. For Armchair Cinema, I'm Jerry Dean Roberts. I'll see you next time.